Hey guys, welcome to Module 2, Social Work 642. This week we will be moving along. Last week we kind of talked about independent and dependent variables, so to get you kind of thinking about your research topics. This week we'll be talking a little bit more about behaviors, which are your dependent variable, and how you'll understand recording and reporting those behaviors. So how you would measure them, basically. So a lot of good information this week. We'll be reading chapters 2 through 4 of the Richards book. And there's a couple of assignments this week. We have a discussion, your first discussion coming up this week, and we have an assignment on reliability and validity. Now, reliability and validity are some really key concepts in understanding how to structure your research. They're really important to understand. Those are those factors that could influence the outcomes of your research. So, making sure that we have optimal reliability and validity are extremely important. So understanding really how what they are is important in beginning to structure your study and how you're going to measure and exactly when you are measuring your outcomes and collecting your data. Okay, so it's good that we are trying to really hit home on that right now. So the assignment is a short written assignment, a page to 2 pages about reliability and validity, and explaining them and how you might use it in your design or your data collection. So length of this assignment is not really important to me. You can be very short or longer. It's about your explanation, and please feel free to use examples for this assignment. That could be helpful. I just want to be able to tell that you understand the concepts. Okay. Now, the discussion that's due this week is really your first discussion, and all the discussions in this class are intended to be helpful. They're intended to help you build toward your research proposal. So it'll help you kind of draft some of those sections. And in discussion 1, we're really starting to look at, what you will be doing, who your population is, your target population, or your client. What behavior you want to look at, or dependent variable you want to look at, and how you'll measure that dependent variable. So just start getting you thinking. Now, listen, this is not intended for you to have all the answers when you post your discussion forum. The discussion's a place where you can, get feedback and give feedback to your peers, and you might have a really good idea that could really help out someone else, and vice versa. So I don't expect you to have all the answers right up front. This is supposed to be helpful. Okay, so this is kind of like the first crack at it, and in thinking about it and working through it before you turn in your approval form a little bit later. Okay, now keep in mind all this is due by Sunday at 11:59. So be sure to get those in on time. Discussions. I do not allow late submissions on discussions. I do allow late submissions on assignment with approval, on written assignments with approval. But discussions, once they close, there's no late submission. So keep that in mind. Okay. All right. Now be sure in your written assignment to be sure to cite any outside materials you bring in as well. But also in the discussions, be sure to post early. Don't wait to the last minute. If you wait to the last minute, that's going to be reflected in your grade. In this discussion and moving forward in the class. Okay. And as you're thinking about your research project, I talked a little bit about this last time, deciding on if you're doing it on a single subject or if you're doing it on on yourself. Just kind of be throwing those things around. If you want to discuss it a little bit further, I'll be happy to talk to you about it. In past semesters when I've taught this class, students find it very helpful when we can have one-on-one meetings. If we schedule a phone call and we can talk about your particular research project, it's really helpful. So we can do that if you would like to talk a little bit about your project. Okay, because the flow of this is going to be your research proposal will you'll have to submit your topic, and then complete your research proposal, which are all the sections minus the data collection and the discussion, which are like your introduction, your literature review, your methods, um, that those kind of things. And then later on, you will integrate your data collection, because you'll be have your data that you collected, and your discussion and results sections, that are part of it, which it results in that final project that you'll be doing at the end. So if you had um, Social Work 541 in the foundation program, or even in undergrad, the research proposal is what you did at that point. So this is just expanding on that a little bit. So that's kind of how this is going to flow. So really getting our topic approved is the first step. In that process. So just start thinking about that. The research approval form is located in that research project tab below these modules. You can look at it there to get a feel for what information is required on that form. You cannot proceed with your topic unless it gains approval from me as the instructor. To ensure that you're on the right path and get the right way. So you can't advance in the class until you have an approved research topic. So be sure to keep that in mind as you're going through. Not everyone gets it on the first try. And if you don't get it on the first try, it's not a big deal. We'll work through it. We'll get it and work together to get you a research topic until you have an approved research topic. We'll work on it. Okay. So don't stress too much about that. All right. So that's about all I have for Module 2. So you guys let me know if you have questions.